Hello and welcome to Dommy Tries This. I hope you brought your cuppa. This coffee mug was a gift from one of my kids who knows that I like anime and coffee mugs. So it was kind of a perfect mix. This is from an anime I believe I don't follow. I believe that this is from Naruto. I'm not positive about that. I tend to like Wolf's Rain. I liked Vampire Hunter D. I liked Witch Hunter Robin. I'm very specific in my taste. Ghost in the Shell, Macross Plus, although I didn't like some of the earlier Macross movies or series. So, you know, some of these characters on here look kind of like some of the ones in the Final Fantasy games that I've played. I've played some PlayStation games as well, but I do believe this is from Naruto, and like I said, it is from one of my daughters who knows that I love coffee mugs and anime. Today's tea is salted caramel mixed with cinnamon vanilla. Kind of a nice tea on a day that's been kind of where the sun's been in and out and it's kind of humid. My hair is a little on the it's attempting to frizz a lot side because of the humidity, and the top is a little flat because of the humidity. Let's go ahead and have a taste of our tea, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, really hot, but really tasty. Oh, that's good. You get the caramel and the cinnamon most strongly out of the two. Here's just a touch of the vanilla. It's good. I'd enjoy it more if it wasn't so humid. Anyway, today is our last day for ColourPop. Yes. I gotta say, I've loved doing this. I've loved exploring a new brand. The next brand I'm going to do is one that I'm more familiar with, that I have used more frequently. But I'm also very glad to get these and put them away, and also to give some of them away, because there are a few of them that haven't worked for me. So like some of the Super Shock shadows that I ended up not having too much luck with, they went to one of my daughters. I have one of the cheek products that's going to end up going to a daughter. So yeah, it's been kind of nice to just get through it all, put things away, give some of it to the kids, have more room for other stuff that I'm testing out for boxes and other things. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So first I'm going to talk about their pressed bronzers. These have become some of my favorite pressed bronzers, my favorite bronzers in general. In my collection, I still do like my Profusion ones, but unlike my Profusion ones, these are a lot less powdery, which I truly appreciate. This one is, as I sit here and try to read, Afternoon Delight, and this darker one is Rodeo Drive. They have become my favorites to use. You can see one is cool, one is very warm. This one is probably a much better summer color for me when I get more of my summer color going on my skin. If I do, with all this rain, God knows. I like the way they come in. Let's do this. So there is Rodeo Drive and there is Afternoon Delight. I'm wearing Afternoon Delight today. Probably could have put on the Rodeo Drive and been okay. And there's, well, I blew on it, but there is really next to no powder coming up. They're very smooth, very creamy. They have a nice pigment. They build up well. I actually went hunting for Afternoon Delight because I knew that Rodeo Drive was probably closer to a summer color for me, and it is a really, really red. And my skin gets more towards that golden tone when I'm actually been out and have been developing my color over the summer. So I think that would be closer to the end of summer color, but I still wear it even now because it is like one of my favorites, and the color is gorgeous, gorgeous. In fact, I can put on just a little. you can see, it builds in there. I have the other one in there. You can see that color is just gorgeous, just gorgeous. It does a beautiful job. I really, really enjoy it. I'm probably a little too dark now, though, for what I've been doing on today. This is my second filming. Anyway, but I can also diffuse that out very easily with, you know, my powder brush. And the color is still beautiful. It's beautiful. Love it. Just, like I said, they've become an absolute favorite in my collection. I'm actually reaching, I used to use primarily this Zuri Flawless Pressed Powder as my bronzer. This is actually a foundation. I have been reaching for this a lot less since I've gotten these. Beautiful colors. So yes, I highly recommend their bronzers. They tend to come in little individual packets like this Ofra is. And then the packaging itself comes separate, which is fine. And then you just take the little sticker and you put it on the back. As you see, the pan has a little hole in it so that you can go ahead and replace or remove as you just want for later. So yeah, that couldn't be more pleased. These are probably some of my favorite things in the whole ColourPop collection that I have received. Next, we're going to talk a bit about their pressed blushes. The blushes I got tend more towards the brownie pink. I didn't get any bright pink. I actually kind of wanted something on a deeper, somewhere along the lines of this one. Kind of it's coming off very pink in the camera, but it is actually more of a almost a maroon, but I couldn't find one that I really liked. I can't remember seeing any. However, this one is to the 10. It is on the more pink side. These are beautiful for travel too, these cases. As you'll notice, they have the same kind of case. This is to the 10. This other one is a Weirdo, which is more for a more natural look for me. I am wearing to the 10 today with a little bit of one of the Super Shocks over it. They are smooth, they are creamy, they have nice pigmentation, they're very soft. These two colors you're probably not going to see that much. I shouldn't have done that one. I actually forgot to wipe off my fingers. Don't want to do that. You're not going to get a good color representation if I already have something in there. Okay, so let's do that again. These are probably not going to see them very much on my skin either way, though, if only because I tend towards blushy colors that aren't going to be too dark on first application. I like to build up. They do build nicely. You can't even see Weirdo, but you can see to the 10. It is more on the pinky side. Weirdo does work for me, I swear. I use it for, for me, it's more for my natural, no makeup looks. So that's why it didn't get chosen today. Again, you have the same kind of packaging. It has the nice click of all of their smaller palette presses, you know, for their pressed items, and it has the little hole to make it easy to pull things out, and you can put the sticker on the back. Most of these, this one does say blush on it. I have noticed that some of the two with the bronzer do say bronzer on them. The one for the highlighters, well, those actually do say highlighter on them. I have received one that said cheek on it. Most of the Super Shocks will come across with the word cheek instead of the specific type. But again, a very sturdy packaging. If you want to throw one of these in your purse to darken your color up later, I don't see you having a problem with anything like that. And again, I wouldn't say that these have become my favorite. They are creamy and smooth. They do build. I do have more pigmented blushes, but that just might be because of my color choices. As you can see, To the 10 did really nicely. I want to make sure I'm saying that right. Yes, To the 10 does come across nicely as a light flush color, but I do have others that have a bit more pigment to them. But they're not bad. They're good for the price. I mean, these were like $6 to $8, I believe. And if you get them on sale, they're even better. So I think they're kind of middle of the road in terms of, you know, the color and everything. The nice thing about them is they do last, and they're very soft, so, and creamy and smooth and all of that, and you do get decent color from them. So would I say that I would buy these first? Probably not. But that said, I wouldn't mind more of them. They're still very good. They just seem to be on the not quite nearly as pigmented as some of the other things of theirs, but they're still very good. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Super Shock cheeks. These do not specifically say blush or highlighter on them, although when you go into cheeks and you do Super Shock and you're looking for, if I think you can specify, when you go into blush, for example, you will find the Super Shock cheeks that are supposed to be used for blush in that section with the pressed powdered blushes. Hope that makes sense. The first one I'm going to talk about is one of my favorites. It has the best color of all of the Super Shock cheeks colors. Say that 10 times fast. For the way I apply, and the way I apply my blush is to tap. I don't sweep, I tap like that. And this one actually does the best with applying color that way. With any kind of brush, actually, it does the best. This is in Between the Sheets. Like all the Super Shocks, I'm trying to figure out where it is. There we go. Like all the Super Shocks, it does better with a with your finger or with a sponge. I don't like using those things to apply. There's the matte. It's very similar to this one. It is on a more less pinky tone. It's more of a bronzy tone. It's creamy, it's pigmented, it's beautiful. It's one of my favorites. It is my favorite of all the Super Shock cheeks. And it's not as fussy when it comes to a brush. So that's what I really appreciate about it. Would I buy more of the cheeks all along? The matte, maybe. The others, probably not. But this one I really do like. The other one is the satin. Next to the matte, this was the second most easiest to apply with a brush. It definitely does better with a stiffer brush versus a soft brush. And it also does better with a sponge. This one is in the color Birthday Suit. This one is more of a light pink. I'm doing more on the swatching because since they're blushes, they're not going to be like boom in your face, except unless, you know, like the Pretty Vulgar was when I had it. Again, this one gives me a nice warm glow more than a cheeky color, so to speak. It is beautiful. Again, I wouldn't be unhappy at receiving more of the satins. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to purchase more of the satins. But they are, like I said, they do work better with a brush than the other two I will be talking about. And it does give me a beautiful glow. I do like this color. So I'm not mad at it. I just probably wouldn't go out of my way to buy more of the satins. The mattes, I might, but the satins, not. Next, I have in the pearlized. This is a cheek in the pearlized. This one is called Drop of a Hat. This one does not apply very well with a brush. It can, but not very well. It does better with your finger or with a sponge. I have been able to use it as sort of an overglow. I did use it as an overglow today. Because of the way it interacts with the brush, it doesn't give me that much color. It gives me more of a glow. What I do find it to be useful for is a topper on an eyeshadow or something of that nature. It's not high shine. It works. I wouldn't buy another pearlized one on my own money, but I do like the color. I do like the glow, so I will be keeping this one. Yeah, not one of my favorites. Really, of the three we've talked about, the next one, if I were to buy any more of these, it would be in the matte. It would not be either of the other two, really. But this one I will keep. I do like that warm golden glow it can give. You just have to kind of fuss with it a bit more. You have to use a stiffer brush. You can't use a real soft brush and brush it on, really, for me, or use it on your eyes. I like that it can be done that way, but because it does better with a sponge or your finger, not a favorite and not something I would repurchase. Next we have the pressed powdered highlighters. Again, these are something that I actually really love. They have the same kind of packaging as the others in the pressed powders. I have Total Package, which was the first one I purchased. My mirror is kind of a mess on that one for some reason. And I have Angel Food. Angel Food has become my absolute favorite of the two. They are creamy and smooth. Not at all powdery. They apply beautifully. They get a gorgeous glow. You can build them up or do a nice soft color. They're beautiful. These are beautiful. And like I said, this one has become my favorite. It's more on the pinky tone. It's beautiful. And as you can see, that other Super Shock cheek you could probably also use as a highlighter if you can get it to work for you. I tend to have trouble with it working for me. But they're beautiful. I love these. They are... I have a few highlighters, and these have become some of the most reached for in the collection. I do highly recommend these. Now, an interesting thing happened when I did the order that I got my Angel Food in. Like I noted, they come in separately. So I had the packaging for Angel Food, and I had the pan. But when I opened the package, it had another highlighter in it. So I contacted them, let them know that I had my highlighter, Angel Food. I actually had the highlighter, but that the package that it came with had a different highlighter in it. And when they sent me the replacement, they were very, very good. There were a few other errors on that order, and they... Thank you, Sora. That's Sora. She's scratching. When they sent the replacements for the stuff that was missing in that order, they not only sent me the packaging I needed, they sent me another pan of the highlighter. Now, the original packaging with the highlighter that I received that I didn't ask for is going to a friend. But the new pan of Angel Food, it won't have the packaging, mind you, but the new pan of Angel Food is in my 500-person giveaway. You will, when we finally get there, if we finally get there, whoever you are, never did take that off. Whoever wins will get my favorite highlighter, because this has become my absolutely favorite highlighter to wear in that package when I finally do that giveaway. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope whoever receives it will love it just as much as I do. Hopefully. But anyway, these are gorgeous. I love them. Angel Food is become the one I reach for the most. I highly recommend them. Now, one of the Super Shock cheeks is the highlighters. And the only type of highlighter that they actually have, this one notwithstanding, because that's, when you actually check for it, this will show up in the blush, not in the highlighters, is pearlized. It's the only one, as far as I know, it is the only Super Shock highlighter you can get is pearlized. I was really disappointed in this. This is very, very fussy. You need to choose a brush very carefully. You need firmer bristles. Mine is kind of chewed up from all the efforts that I was making in trying to make this work. The color is gorgeous. This is right up my alley. It's very light. It's a beautiful color. It's more pinky. I'm not sure. I think my light is washing it out a little bit. You can see the shine, but there you can see the color. It's kind of on the pink side of lavender. But even when you use a stiffer brush, it's best applied with a finger or a sponge, to be honest with you. And I've tried both of those applications. I don't like applying stuff with a finger or sponge. I've always already mentioned that. I can talk, I swear. Anyway, I found applying it with the sponge to be kind of, the finger is best. Using a finger is your best way to apply this. And I hate that. A sponge I probably could have lived with, but yeah. So, as you can see, it's a very subtle glow that doesn't build well, especially with the sponge for me. Honestly, if you're going to go with a lavender kind of color, which I got introduced to by NYX, by the way, my Milk is a far better highlighter in that color family. And there's that one. As I twist my arm, as you can see, you can get much better color, much brighter glow. This can also be subtle. It's a much easier to apply. You can use any brush on it. So to be honest, this just didn't thrill me. This one will be going to my youngest child, who really liked these a lot. I just wasn't happy with it. So the Super Shock highlighters, if you don't mind applying stuff with your finger, you probably would really enjoy this. Like I said, you can use a sponge. It does okay with a sponge. It doesn't build well with a sponge. So this would actually be better for somebody who doesn't mind using their finger like I do. So other than that, I can't really recommend it to, I mean, I just had so many problems with it, really. So out of all the products I received, honestly, the most disappointing were the Super Shocks, and it was like the metallic and the glitter, the ultra glitter in the eyeshadows, and that were the most disappointing to me. I know a lot of people love them. I prefer the mattes and satins and stuff like that. That just seems to work better for me and for my way of applying things. So we have two other little items here. These are little extras that I actually picked up a little later after I had most everything else, and then I decided I wanted to try these when I was picking up another order for something that I actually really wanted. First, we have this ColourPop Brow Boss Gel. It's a tiny little, this is actually rather small compared to some of the other ones I have. Actually, I have to say it's kind of in the middle because, to be honest, the Instant I have has a very long top but a small bottom, and the NYX Control Freak is just a big one. But this one comes out white. It actually does not look that way on your brow. I am using it today. Excuse me. So it is very thick. So you do have to take the excess off. It does build up a lot of excess on the spoolie. So if you look there, that's all from the spoolie. It's a little bit heavier on my brow than, say, the NYX Control Freak, which sounds strange since the NYX is called Control Freak. And it has a bit of a stiffer hold. I do love this spoolie better than the NYX, though, because the NYX one has a very long spoolie. But this is a really nice sized and shaped spoolie. It really does work really well on the brow. This is about the same price as the NYX, but you get more product in the NYX. So, do I like it? Yes. Would I purchase it again? Probably not. My NYX has done really well. I feel it's a better value. This does work. I'm not saying it's a bad product. It is a good product. I'm just saying there is more value in the NYX. The only downside to the NYX is that it does have the longer spoolie. But it doesn't give me, it does hold. It doesn't give me crunchy brow. You don't get, even though it's white, you don't get white on the brow. It does a good job of cleaning up. I tend to put my foundation on before I do my brows because I know the foundation is going to hit my brows. So it does tend to clean that up for me and have a decent amount of hold. So it is a good product. It's just for the price. I think the NYX is the better deal. So yeah. I like it, just not enough to repurchase and send. It's not mind-blowing enough for me to go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pay more for less product or pay the same for less product. ColourPop Lippy Sticks also has a lip primer. It too looks white, but it does not come off white on when you use it. It's right there. You can't even see it. It's nice and clear. It's very emollient. I really like that about it. It doesn't appear to change the way your lipsticks feel. I mean, it doesn't change the formula of them. In some, like the NYX one that I've tried is very waxy, and I can feel it being more waxy on my lips. The Bite Beauty one was really, really nice, but it is very high priced, so I wouldn't recommend it. As much as I loved it, it's the price is way too high for that. So it's very smooth. It's very creamy. It doesn't interfere with the formula or the color. So for example, if you have a matte lipstick, it's not going to add more slide to a matte lipstick, but it is, if you put on a glossy, it's not going to take away the slide of the glossy. I do find that most lipsticks, other than the glossy liquid, I think, well, even they may last a little bit longer, do stay on longer. When you remove your lipstick, this will, it practically moisturizes your lips. You can feel it's kind of staying there a little bit as you're taking everything else off. It's not a bad feeling. I'm just saying you're aware that it's there. And it does feel smooth on the lips. Lipsticks do apply smoothly. They do remove easily. They do not, this does not force them to stay on your lips anymore. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. The lipsticks will last longer, but if you want to remove them, they will remove easily. So, and like I said, it leaves behind a nice emollient, moisturized lip. You get a lot of product for the price. I have used this quite a bit lately. And as you can see, I still have a ways to go. It's a better value than the NYX, I think. You get more than the NYX, I think. Although I will be honest, I'm not sure of the amounts. Although in this case, because this is not waxy, even if this was more per ounce, I'd probably recommend buying this over the NYX just because of the feeling of it. So I really like this. I really recommend it. So how do I feel about ColourPop overall? Overall, I am glad my Ipsy ladies pushed me to be introduced to it. There were a few fails. There are a couple of things that are not in terms of a value, the best value. That doesn't make these bad products. There are other things that work as well that are a better value. 95% of the stuff that I purchased I love and am keeping. There's very little, in fact higher than that probably. There's like 4 Super Shock eyeshadows and a couple of Super Shock cheeks that are going to someone. And I think I may have given up 1 or 2 of the lipsticks. But overall, I mean, all that considered, I still have something like 7 of their lipsticks. I still have, you know, 3 of their Super Shock cheeks. So even though there were some that did not work well, overall, most of them worked beautifully. The pigmentation is absolutely gorgeous. The long lasting of them is also very good. They work well. The eyeshadows work well in my problem area in my eye. I can manipulate them usually without too much difficulty to get some very good results that I really enjoy. So overall, I've actually really enjoyed ColourPop. I actually, like I said earlier, I have another order sitting in my cart, and so I highly recommend them. You just have to kind of pick and choose what you think you're going to like, what kind of formula will work with you. For the Super Shocks in particular, you have to determine whether or not you have a problem using a sponge applicator or a regular sponge or your finger, and whether or not that's an issue for you. For like I said, for me, using my finger, I just don't like to do it. If you like using your fingers, I think even the ones other than the Ultra Glitter Super Shocks, I think would work really well. The Ultra Glitter Super Shocks might work better with a glitter glue. However, that's something I don't use. I figure if I have enough high glitter types of eye items that work without a glitter glue, that I shouldn't have to go to all that effort. I hope you've liked these reviews. My reviews are more intended to give you an idea more of what to expect out of a product than anything. I makeup is subjective, so what I like somebody else won't like, and vice versa. What other people like I may not like. And I have gotten particular eyeshadow palettes to work where other people have given up on them in frustration, and so on and so forth. So most of my reviews are not coming from the point of view of somebody who's an expert in makeup, but from my experience, and to give you an idea of what you could expect based on that experience. Is it creamy? Is it pigmented? Is it going to last? Those kinds of things. So I hope that in that way, our ColourPop week has been informative to those who may or may not have been exposed to ColourPop, who have tried ColourPop. I do recommend the company. I do recommend giving them a try. If you have liked what you've seen, I hope you will consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so you know when I upload. And when you do come by again, I do hope you will bring your cup of tea